In the world of cybersecurity, there's a huge shift happening. For years, we've basically been firefighters, just rushing to put out blazes after they've already caused a ton of damage. But let's be real, that's a losing game. The new mission? Well, it's time to become the hunter. Just let that sink in for a second. It's not about if you're going to get hit anymore, it's about when. And that one little change in perspective is forcing this entire industry to completely rethink everything. So the real question isn't if the alarm will sound, it's what's your plan for when it does. So this really breaks down the two mindsets side by side. You've got the firefighter on one side, just waiting for the alarm bell to ring. And on the other, you have the hunter, who's out there actively looking for clues before something bad happens. And this isn't just some small adjustment, it's a completely different philosophy. Let's dig into why the old way just isn't cutting it anymore. Okay, so let's talk about the old way, the cyber firefight. For way too long, security teams have basically operated like a fire department. I mean, they're incredibly skilled, they're dedicated, but at their core, they're reactive. They're just sitting around waiting for that siren before they can jump into action. And just think about what that actually means. An alert goes off, chaos erupts, and the team scrambles to figure out what in the world just happened. They have to investigate the damage and then start that long, painful process of cleaning everything up. But here's the kicker. In this model, the attacker has already won. They're in. The damage is done. You're just dealing with the mess they left behind. So how in the world do we break out of this reactive cycle? Well, we have to completely flip our strategy on its head. This is all about building a proactive defense. It's about going from just holding up a shield to having a shield and a sword, and actually going on the offense. This is where modern incident response really starts to get interesting. A truly proactive defense is built on these 4 pillars, and they all have to work together. Yeah, you've still got incident response, but now it's supercharged by threat intelligence. That's knowing your enemy. That intelligence then fuels your threat hunting, the actual search for them. And it's all propped up by detection engineering, which is basically building smarter tripwires tuned to the specific ways your enemies like to operate. Now, the really important thing here is the word integrate. These can't be 4 separate teams working in their own little worlds. The goal is to weave them all together into one single, well-oiled machine. When your intelligence informs your hunters, and what the hunters find helps you build better detections, you create this amazing feedback loop that just makes you stronger and stronger over time. Which brings us to a crucial point. You have to know your enemy. Because honestly, none of this proactive stuff works if you're just flying blind. You can't hunt for a threat you don't understand. An effective defense always starts with deep, intelligence-driven knowledge of who you're up against. And this is the question every single organization needs to be asking itself. We're not talking about some abstract hacker in a hoodie. Is it a nation-state trying to steal secrets? Is it a ransomware group that's just after a payday? Or maybe an insider who's got a grudge? The answer to that question completely changes how you defend yourself. To figure it out, you have to build a profile. You start with their motivations. What do they want? Is it money or is it something political? Then you look at their capabilities. What kind of tools are they using? And finally, you study their behaviors. What are the actual digital footprints they leave behind? Understanding how they operate is the absolute key to predicting what they're going to do next. And the good news is, this isn't just guesswork. Professionals use these incredible, structured frameworks like the cyber kill chain and MITRE ATT&CK. You can think of them as encyclopedias of attacker tactics. They give everyone a common language to describe how attacks unfold, step by step, which lets defenders map their defenses against the bad guys' known moves. All right, so you've got your strategy, you understand the enemy. Now what? It's time to build your response playbook. This is where we turn all of that theory and intelligence into a concrete, step-by-step plan for what to do when things go bad. Building this out is a pretty methodical process. It starts with a big, formal incident response plan. But then you've got to get specific. You create these detailed playbooks for different scenarios, like what do we do for a ransomware attack versus a data breach? And finally, you make sure all your tech, your monitoring tools, your detection tools are all plugged in and working with those plans. And this is where it all comes together. All this hard work, the integrated teams, the deep intelligence, the detailed plans, it all culminates in this one thing, becoming the hunter. This is that final evolution where your team's entire mindset truly transforms. And this is it. This is the whole mission.
It's no longer about damage control. It's about proactively shining a light into all the dark corners of your network to find an adversary who might be hiding there and finding them before they can pull the trigger. It's about seizing the initiative. It's about controlling the battlefield. So let's circle back to our metaphor one last time because it just nails this transformation. The firefighter, they wait for the alarm and they react to the damage that's already been done. But the hunter understands the terrain, their own network, they proactively track their adversary based on solid intelligence, and most importantly, they're always thinking about and anticipating that adversary's next move. So that really leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Take a hard look at your own organization, your own team. Are you fighting fires or are you hunting threats? Because honestly, the answer to that question could be the difference between a minor headache and a complete catastrophe. Thanks for tuning in.